Why is it such a problem to be positive, or at the very least neutral? And I know it from a psychological perspective. I'm doing psychology. We look for the negative because the negative is a survival method. We know that if we don't pay attention to the negative, especially from evolutional standpoint, we could die, we could be separated from the crowd, we could be casted out if we don't pay attention to what is a threat. That's the biological sense, that's the evolutional sense, that's the psychological sense. If you don't believe me, go check it out. But half of us are not in survival mode. Well, we don't need to be. Yet we create a constant negative narrative. I've done a social experiment a couple of times where I will put something on a social media, anything across the board, and if I put positivity, the interaction with it is very little. But if I put something negative on, I can guarantee somebody will respond. Somebody will put something on. There'll be a conversation around it. And it makes me sad that the idea of positivity is just not allowed. Just the concept in it alone, we're not allowed to be positive. We're not allowed to be. And I've been told I'm too positive. Like, there's a problem with that. Do you want to be sat in negativity? Because we find what we're looking for. So if we're constantly looking for the negative, I can guarantee you in this world alone, if you open your door, you can find it. In your bedroom, I can point out, if I was to look for something negative, I could point out now about 6 things without even trying that are negative about this room. But we have a thing of selective vision. So not only do we seek out the bad, but if we only seek out the bad and the negative, that's all we'll ever find. So I'm getting to the point now where I actively will show positivity. Now, I'm not forcing it down people's throat. I'm not forcing people to feel positive, because I can't. Nobody can make you feel something that you don't want to feel. There in itself is that you don't want to feel. But I'm refusing to add to the negative narrative. Don't get me wrong, we all have our bad days, and I talk a lot, so generally something in there is going to be negative. But I try to do an 80-20 rule, where 80% of my stuff is either positive or neutral, and the other 20% is negative, because you have to vent. You have to allow those negative feelings out sometimes. Otherwise, if you're constantly positive, you will become unrelatable. You will also be naive to think that nothing bad happens. Like, you can be a good person, you can be a positive person, you can still get pissed off. Just saying, because I get annoyed at a lot of stuff. But I'm refusing to add to the narrative that is constantly negative on everything. And we're in a world now where we're constantly fed other people's opinions, constantly fed other people's thoughts and feelings. And that's fine. Everybody is entitled to an opinion and a thought, but they're like farts. Everybody likes their own. So I'm going further. I'm putting nothing out but constructive or positive. And I might not get likes or validation. What most people seek is when especially when it comes to negativity, people want to know that other people are feeling exactly the same way they do, so they can feel better about feeling down or miserable. As they say, misery loves company. Yeah, well, I'm changing the narrative around that. I'm going to say, positivity loves company, because I'm relatively positive and I like company. So I'm going for this. Look at what you're looking at. Look around at what you're seeking at and focusing on. There is enough excuses in this world to be negative. But there are also, if you choose to look, there are plenty of them to be positive. There are people doing good work out there. There are people doing for charities. There is hunger has come down it's like the lowest it's ever been. I'm gonna say it's great and people are still going hungry, so we should still help. But I'm just saying there's plenty out there to show that we are doing better than we've ever done because of, like, even if you stay to take Black Lives Matter, people are raving about it being annoying and all that lot, which I think is, well, you know what, we'll leave that aside. But the fact is we're in a world now where we can raise that awareness. How positive is that? Like, we've got to start changing the conversation around it. And the conversation was all we do is look for the negative. We're fed negativity by news, by people's opinions and all that lot. So I'm refusing to add to it. So if you find me annoying, I'm sorry. But I'm not sorry, really. Honestly, I'm not. Because if you're around me, I don't want to hear your complaints unless you really need it. But then it's constructive. I give you 5 minutes. But if you're still complaining about the same problem 6 months in, that's down to you. I also cannot change something you don't want to change. And I do that the same on everything. If people are complaining on Facebook, I've had to mute people. Please do, because some people you really do need to mute. And don't feel bad about it, because all they're doing is feeding into that negativity. So I'm rambling. So I'm gonna. But we need to change the way we speak, I think. But it has to come from each and every one of us looking at what we're choosing to look at, what we're choosing to take in, and then essentially going back to why it resonates with us. The fact that maybe we want to stay that way, but is it really helping us or is it harming us? Your decision. But my decision, I'm going to be a positive little sunshine drop. Oh God, even I can't do that one. All right, you might get the odd rant, but in general, 80-20. 80-20.